Well, chit chat, Kit Kats. Oh my goodness. Well, every day the voice is getting stronger, so that part is good. It's still, of course, low. It still doesn't sound like my voice. Every time you open your mouth, you're wondering what's going to come out today. Always an adventure. I just have to laugh at it. But yeah, it's fine. Anyway, I had the call this morning from the VA because I had to make an appointment to see my primary. And they're calling and saying, well, what are you coming in for today? And I said, well, I just had this operation. They go, well, you're scheduled to come in May. I said, yeah, but they specifically asked me to talk with my primary right after the operation. So they go, oh, okay, well, so anyway, I'm going to go in today and talk with her and let her know. I think because she needs to know what medication I'm on, and I think it has to come from my primary, that she puts in the order for them to continue to send it to me. And I think they just need to have the primary knowing exactly what's going on with your medical history if something major has changed. So anyway, she's really good. I like my primary. She's more open, and I will tell her about my thyroidom. I'll take that in and show it to her today and tell her I am also taking this. Now, some of them would be just horrified that you're doing that, but she's very down to earth, and so she'll understand why. Thank God I've got somebody that is open to more alternative things and stuff, and she understood when I was saying about maybe going on the armor instead of the synthetic. But since I've got this along with the synthetic, it should be okay. But I will talk with her about that today. Anyway, yeah, she's pretty down to earth and easy to talk with. Except for every time I go in there, she wants to order a battery of tests. Just It's like, no. So I try not to go in any more than I have to, because I know that I'm going to be poked and prodded and everything every time I go in. But it is what it is. But anyway, so that's what's in my world today. Going, and at least, thank God, I don't have to drive all the way to El Paso today. Thank goodness I'm here just in Las Cruces. I'm able just to go to my doctor here at the VA, and so that makes it easy. Now, yesterday I had somebody on my line, one of the radical right, that said, oh, I watched your reading and it's such a parody, ha 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 ha. Yeah, I said, no, well, I'm absolutely serious. So, I said, you could stick around, maybe you'll learn something, and I guarantee that I'm going to have the last laugh. So sit there and go ahead and laugh, jackass, but I will have the last laugh, because he is going down. He's a criminal. Okay. So, it's always, you get these uber right ones that come on and, just championing Trump. And, he's an absolute criminal. And they're so blind to it, they just absolutely unwilling to see what is taking place. So you just say, well, buckle up, sweetheart, because, I think you're going to be surprised at the ending of this. Anyway, so that's going on as well. But I have to say I'm glad that the weather's turning. It's just starting now to heat up. Now I don't like the really hot days of summer, but it is nice to have this nice starting time of the warmth coming in, and the trees now are all getting their green leaves and everything. So another changing season is on its way, which is lovely. I do enjoy that. So yeah, all good. As far as the dietary stuff, it's going well. You know, I'm still doing the carnivore, and it's going well. I haven't been since the surgery. I'm 2 weeks out today, and have not gained any weight. In fact, I've lost a couple of pounds. Actually, I've lost 4 pounds, which is really great because before the surgery, I was gaining weight, and you know, nothing was working. And so I'm happy that I'm finally starting to even back out and starting to lose a little weight. So hopefully that continues and I get back down to a more beneficial size. So working on that. So what else was it? Oh, I was watching some really good ones. Was it Dr. Kenberg had on a thoracic surgeon, a heart specialist, and he was really, of course, again, talking up the carnivore in the keto lifestyle for heart issues. Okay, now I have to say, since I started the carnivore in the high fat and the protein high fat and the salt, heavy salt, my blood pressure has gone down. And I don't know how many people that will come on and say, oh my God, you're going to have a heart attack. No, it's exactly the opposite. It's gotten better. And there are now more and more doctors, heart doctors, that are saying that this is the way to go. There are a number of heart specialists that are now carnivore or heavy keto. So, you know, the things, it's amazing the things that they have told us has been so backwards. And so, yeah. Anyway, I'm still watching those videos about the people that have gone in. Oh, there was another one. This woman had such bad psoriasis, eczema, just horrible. Her skin was just, covered with this red, just so difficult. And the carnivore totally cleared her up. Now, I used to know somebody that had that psoriasis and stuff so bad, but unfortunately, she is Hindu and an absolute vegan, and so, you know, to get her to have carnivore would be, forget it. But the same family, the husband is a doctor, okay? And they had their son on Ritalin. And they were my students, okay? They were some of my students. And I could see this boy, he was getting tics. You know, not animal ticks, but ticks. He would, you know, have things like this happen and stuff. And I knew it was from the medication they had him on. I think it was Ritalin, but something they said that he had ADHD, and so they had him on this medication, and the father's a doctor. Well, I could see this, and I could tell this was really not good for this boy. And they had just babied him to death and of course brought him up vegetarian, etc. So they let him come stay with me, and I told them flat out, look, if I feel that he needs meat, he is going to have meat. And of course they were just but they respected me as their teacher, spiritual teacher, and so he did come to stay with me for a month. And in that month's time, I backed him off that medication. He learned to fend for himself, actually do laundry, how to take care of himself, because he had to have, in the Hindu world, the son is God. And I mean, they had babied this boy so bad, he couldn't even eat himself. His mother was still feeding him as a teenager, still feeding him by hand. So anyway, backed him off that medication slowly. You just don't stop medication immediately. Backed him off of it slowly. And he ate that first meat, and he consumed it like crazy because his body was so lacking and needed it. And I'll tell you what happened with that boy. He went back to his parents, a totally different child. And his life goal was to become a doctor, even better than his father, okay? And he did. He went into, I think was it neurosurgery? It was some really big specialty. And he was so smart, once he had gotten off those medications and things, he was so smart that he had gotten, they would pay for some of his education, okay? The schools offered him education, okay? I forget what you call it, grants or whatever. But he did go on to be a very highly educated surgeon, okay? He surpassed his father. And I have had a number of calls throughout the year from their family just thanking me for taking him under my wing for that month and really turning his life around. So, yeah, carnivore absolutely can do, if you are deficient in these things, which he was very deficient in a number of things. It really did make a huge difference in this young man's life. Now, I don't know if the rest of the family ever started eating meat, but I know he did, and it was something, at first he was a bit horrified, but the minute he had his first, he started off with a hamburger. The minute he had his first hamburger, the change was really radical for this young man. So he's grown up, is now a very highly placed surgeon, has a family, etc. So I know in my own life, to see a big turnaround like that, it was huge, a huge, huge turnaround. It wasn't that he was hyper. It was he was so intelligent, he got bored in school. Okay? But when they had him on that medication, it was really screwing with his mind and intelligence. He had, was going off on these flights of fancy, just, some things, it wasn't balanced, it wasn't grounded. And so the minute he finally came off of those medications, got rid of those tics, and got grounded, balanced out with good protein and things, he just skyrocketed. He took off. And so that's one thing that I can tell you from my own experience, 100%, this big turnaround that took place with him, okay? So, yeah. Now, I've had somebody ask about spirituality and eating meat. spirituality, realization is of consciousness. It's not of the body. And like Christ said, even in the Bible, he said it's not what you take in that is errant for you, because that just passes through the body. It's what comes out of your mouth, what comes out of your mind, your consciousness. So don't worry about what you're eating. You're not going to get there by eating vegetables. You're not going to get enlightened. You're not going to get, it's, the mind spin. Okay? So again, there are some very enlightened beings which eat meat. Okay? And one thing in India, the Kali Mandir, they still do goat sacrifices. Why? Because Kali is representative of time elements. It's also representative of Kundalini. And you have to have that grounding if you are going through Kundalini. Okay? Because otherwise, if you're doing vegetarian, you become ungrounded. And again, that energy coming through the body, it's like electricity. You need to have what? A ground plug. Now, I have gotten lots of flack throughout the years because of this. They say, oh, no. If you're going through Kundalini, you have to be vegan. Well, it's going to burn their nervous system out. Okay? How many do you see that are trying to become spiritual? And this is one way that the ones like Nityananda, this fake guru, no protein. If you have no protein, then again, this is part of some things that they use to try to manipulate minds on people, because they are ungrounded, because they don't have strength, so they withhold protein. So protein is so important. So again, I know I'm very, very controversial in these things, but if one goes through the history also of Hinduism, in the golden age of India, which it is no longer the golden age, I think we can all attest to that, but during the golden age of India, they ate meat. Yes. Okay, Buddha was not a vegetarian, okay? So there is so much misinformation out there, and it sounds good on the surface to be a vegetarian or vegan. It sounds good on the surface, but physically we are not, our makeup is to eat meat. In the beginning time, they were what? Hunters, gatherers. They were not out there planting crops. Yes, if they found some, berries or something along the way, they would have that. But primarily, they were what? Meat eaters. Okay? And that is what our makeup is, because our stomachs are very acidic. It's there to digest meat. Okay? So just so much misinformation has come out there. And yeah, if you go and you are starting vegetarian or something, you might feel better for a short time, but long term, they develop, because the body does not process the fibrous things. They wind up having so many difficulties. It's like one of my daughter's good friends, her husband, lovely guy, love him to death, but he's a vegan. And he is continually having polyps, and they've taken out most of his intestine, and continues to have these difficulties, but continues to try to be vegan. And unfortunately, it is not working well for his system. Okay? So anyway, I'll get off my soapbox about that. But just one story after another story after another story of people that had these immune diseases, cancers, heart difficulties, eczema, psoriasis, and all of these things cleared up when they went carnivore. Okay? So if you also look at the things about how many toxins there are in plants, and you look at the oxalates, etc., and you really delve into this research, you might be quite surprised at what you find. So yeah, I'm still watching, I'm still learning as I go, but I can say, since I started the carnivore, and I've been on it a very short time, that a lot of the issues that I had are absolutely 100% in the process of clearing up, getting better day by day. Okay. Now, is it something I love? No, of course, we all love the taste of fruit, etc., but it is not great for my system. I love it, it doesn't love me. We'll put it that way. Now, I'm not saying I'll never have another piece of fruit. Maybe I might have some sort of a piece of fruit once a month or something, maybe some watermelon, okay? Have it once a month, but I mean, it's not going to be something that is a steady diet here because it just does not. I have to be very careful when it comes to fructose, sugars, that type of thing. Carbs, they convert to sugars on me immediately. So all of that stuff has to go by the wayside because it is really not good for me at all. Now, you know I am an avid coffee drinker. But when I started out, I was having, like a couple of tablespoons of sugar in my coffee. Well, I went to sugar-free, and I can't do Splenda. Cannot do that stuff. I've done some monk fruit, and I'm down to, well, if it's straight monk fruit, 1/16 of a teaspoon, 1/16. So very, very, very little. If I use the one it's got, I think it's chicory and stuff in it as well, I use a half a teaspoon of that, and a 1/4 teaspoon of the Tarani, is it called Tarani or Torino? A quarter of a teaspoon. Okay, so I'm actively backing all this stuff up, and so pretty soon I'll be able to stop all of that. That's the goal, is to have none of it. And the milk I use in my coffee is the Fairlife because it's low in sugar compared to any other milks. So I do use the Fairlife in my coffee because it is much lower in sugar. So those are things that I've been actively doing. And again, I get in a stick of butter a day, whether it's through cooking, I put it in my coffee. And again, the one thing I'm doing at this time is having the rye wasa sourdough rye crisp, because I put a lot of the butter on that, and that works. Now, eventually, it would be good to get off of those as well. But in this transition stage, it seems to be working well for me. I'm finding that I do well with hard-boiled eggs, which are a great source of protein. They're excellent with their protein to fat ratio. It's perfect. Your protein to fat ratio with eggs is absolutely what you want for dietary concerns. Um, so that's one of the main things that I have that's easy to eat. Okay, you take a hard-boiled egg, you cut it in half, put it in the microwave for about 20 seconds, heat it up, put your butter on it, a little salt, and boom, cut it in half down, you're done. It's very quick, very easy, and you're getting your protein in, and your fats and your proteins and stuff. So that's been working well. Now, like I said, I did love when I was having my veg salad every day with my olive oil, but I was getting more and more inflammation happening, cramps in my legs, inflammation, just was not going well. My blood sugar was skyrocketing as well. So since I've cut those things out, it is really consistently getting better for me. So yeah. Anyway, if you are having medical difficulties, I say just check it out. Listen to this Dr. Chaffee. Very intelligent, or I think the other one, is it Berg? Let me see if I can find what this doctor's name is that's so good. Or Steak and Butter Girl. That's another one that has really good people online that she interviews with this. It's Dr. Ken Berry. He interviews a lot of people too. Some of these heart doctors, etc. So either Dr. Chaffee or Dr. Ken Berry. Yeah, it's not Berg. Berg is the one that I found out he's a Scientologist. So, I used to listen to him. He's personable and stuff, but yeah, no, I've axed him out of there. So I don't listen to him any longer, but Chaffee and this Berry, or Steak and Butter Girl, they have very intelligent people on that they are interviewing daily. And a lot of them are, like I said, heart doctors, people that are in the field and really doing a lot of heavy research and just blowing out of the water these wives' tales that we've been told for so long. Now, one of them that was really good that I just watched last night was on seed oils and these things. When they started introducing these things, the vegetable oils, instead of cooking with lard and stuff, is when people started having all the heart issues. Yeah. So you might want to check it out. But they do the research and they do the chronology of when these diseases started coming up and what was being introduced at that time to public as beneficial, but wound up being really antithema to actual health. So on that note, I'm going to leave this here. Go see my doctor today. She is such a trip. She always wears boots. I mean, even in the heat of summer, she has got boots of some sort on. But yeah, like I said, I like her. She's very down to earth and educated, and she is not locked into this mind spin. She is open to more alternative things too when it comes to medicine. So thank God I've got a doctor that's got an open mind. On that note, I'm going to leave this here, have some more coffee, and I'll see you online. I'm going to check it out and see what else there is to read on today. What's coming up today in the news?